Shalom Yasharala. As always, before we start off, I'd like to face the east and give all praise, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, whose names are Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. They're who the world ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. Yahweh in the Hebrew means He is, He exists, He is to be. And His beloved Son, Yahweh Shai, His name in the Hebrew means He saves, He delivers, He is salvation. I like to give honor unto them. Like I said, face the east. Say Kal Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harachak Wadash. Double honors unto the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone, the men who rule and teach well, and set the blueprint for us brothers, striving to make our calling and election sure. I'm the brother Thana from the Great Millstone branch of Las Vegas, coming at you in the spirit. This is just a quick video on double honors, and we're going to start off by showing you brothers who probably may not be, brushed up on the Hebrew enough, or whatever the case may be. This is how to give those double honors in the Hebrew. We could be applying this daily, for those of us brothers, who are laboring, making these lessons, and we could be using this in the beginning of our lessons. Give double honors unto the elder apostles in the Hebrew. Or just in our prayers, just give those double honors unto them, because they're more than worthy of it. Send your blessings up, send those blessings up to the elders, as well as that honor, double honor at that. So anyway, we're gonna go right into it. As you can see, this is written in the Paleo and in the English for you guys' understanding. We started off by saying Mashana, meaning double. Kabawadiam, meaning honors. Kabawad meaning honor. When you add yam to the end of a word, it turns into a masculine plural. So it goes from honor to honors. So double honors. La, meaning two. Ha, meaning the. Shalachiam, meaning apostles. Again, plural, yam. The next word will be wa, meaning and. Hag mawanyam, meaning bishops. Zakwan, meaning elder. So in the English, when we, just how I said it when I started off the lesson, double honors unto the elder, apostles, and bishops. That's how you would say it in the English. But when you're writing stuff out in the Paleo, that adjective is always going to come after the noun. So instead of saying the elder apostles and bishops, we say the apostles and bishops elder. That's just a little breakdown on why that's written that way. If like I said, brothers aren't strong on their Hebrew. Some brothers might not know that, so I'm just breaking it down, letting you know why it's written that way. Next word is shal, meaning of. The next word is gadawal, meaning great. Gadawal is just another variation of the word gadal, which means great. And the last word is rakab, meaning millstone. So, in the Hebrew we say Mashanaka wabadiam laha shalakiam wa hagmawanyam zakwan shal gadwa rakab. Obviously meaning double honors unto the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone. So, that was the whole saying it in the Hebrew. Now, this whole double honors, this stems from 1 Timothy, in the 5th chapter. Let me see, let me go into it. First Timothy. First Timothy 5:17. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honors, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. So, right here, Paul is teaching that, these faithful elders who lead the flock correctly and labor diligently in teaching the scriptures, they're worthy of greater honor than the regular person, or than the regular brother. You could think about the honor, and respect that we have for our elder brothers and, the heads of our camps. Those of us that are in, in the camp or a part of a camp. You imagine that honor, or that reverence you hold for your camp head. Now like I said, double that, double honor, is what we're supposed to show up unto our elder apostles and bishops. So when you go into that word honor in the blue letter, the word for honor is G5092.
Strong's G 5092. Timei.
It says a valuing by which the price is fixed, of the price itself, of the price paid or received for a person or thing bought or sold. Honor which belongs or is shown to one. So this is the point we're here. Or honor which one has by reason of rank and state of office which he holds. Deference or reverence. So like I said, that reverence. Reverence means it means fear. It goes into fear, but it also goes into respect. I wanted to go into right here the Strong's definitions. It says a value, i.e. money paid. Because this honor and respect isn't just how would I say? It's not just honor, giving these double honors. It also comes in the form of, material support. But before I go into that material support, I wanted to go into that esteem, just to back that up a little more. That where it says right here on the bottom, on the Strong's definitions, after it says money paid, it says esteem, especially of the highest degree, or dignity itself, honor, precious price. To go into that esteem aspect of it, I want to go into 1 Thessalonians 5:12. It says, and we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you, and are over you in the Lord, and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourselves. Like I said, we gotta esteem them in the highest degree, because these men are more than deserving of that. All the labor that they've done and all the footwork that they put in. Now if we don't understand something, within the word, obviously, we have brothers that we turn to, but before that, we want to do the work for ourselves. We have a computer right here at the tip of our, in our fingers, that we could turn to, and infinite knowledge, a fountain of knowledge in our hands. The elder apostles and bishops, they didn't have that coming up. Phones weren't popping like that. they had to put in that footwork and go hit the libraries and really study it, and put in their time and their sweat, and this was very laborious. It still is, but it's a little more information is a little more accessible than it was back then. They really had to figure stuff out if they if they didn't understand. Now, because of all that footwork they put in into doing those studies and making lessons, now we have infinite amount of videos that we could turn to on YouTube to help us break down these precepts and that we're not understanding, and Thawadi Halba Shem Shai, for those elder apostles that he hand selected, for this mission. Like I said, they're more than worthy of double honors. That's something we should be giving to them at the very least. Now, to go into that part where it said money paid, it's like I said, this honor is not just respect and esteem, but it's also material support. When you go into the 18th verse of 1 Timothy, in the 18th verse it says, "For the scripture saith, Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward." In this verse, this explains why Paul said that the elders who rule well are worthy of double honors. Not only respect, but also proper support for those who dedicate themselves to teaching the word of the Lord. Right there, that whole "Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth upon the corn." That's a quote coming out of Deuteronomy 25:4. Let me actually go to that just to bring it out. 25:4, right here. Let me highlight it for you, brothers. "Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn." Like I said, that was a quote coming out of that, coming from that precept. Because under the law, an ox was allowed to eat while it worked in the field. It would be unjust to make the animal labor while not benefiting from its work. The ox spiritually represents those who labor in the Lord's work. Those who spend their time teaching the scriptures and watching over the flock, such as our elder apostles do, to this very day. Those who rebuke false doctrine and endure affliction, for the sake of the gospel, for the sake of the brothers that come underneath them. Because at this point in the elders' lives and the age that they're at, they're pushing through very well, because I see other brothers that are up in age, and how do I say it? It's like they kind of wear it, on their face, if you catch my drift, like all the wear and tear and bullshit that they've gone through, within their lives up to this point. You can see it, the elders wear, those battle scars and everything very well. They're not, they're not presenting themselves in a way that a normal man their age would. They're still standing out there, 2-3 hours, however long the video may be, they're out there. They're not, I know me, bro, when I'm out there, on the highways and byways with the brothers, even just holding pose, shit's hot. My feet are burning, from off of the concrete. My legs hurt, my back hurts, You know, there's brothers over there kind of like crouched down, trying to, ease their back, or, whatever the case may be. You don't see the elder apostles doing none of that, You don't even see them really, I never seen them take a break to go take a leak or nothing, They're just holding post, on their job, like I said, setting the example for us brothers, laying out that blueprint. So men of such, I guess, stature, they should not be neglected by those who benefit from their labor. Like it says, the laborer is worthy of his reward. I want to go to Matthew 10 and 10. It says, pretty much the points at the end, is just backing up that, that worker is worthy of the reward, and the elders are worthy of everything they got coming from us, it says, nor, it's like, yeah. So pretty much, it says, nor provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, nor script in your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. Pretty much another way of right here in the NLT it says, because those who work deserve to be fed. It's just in the way that the ox deserves, to be fed. Eats that corn that's on the ground. It's getting spread, on the ground. That's food for the ox. And when the elders are out there laboring in the field and doing what needs to be done, they deserve their reward as well. Because everybody has financial needs, and they're not going to get on the camera and tell everybody, hey, I got this going on, I got that going on. You think you can use my Cash App? No, that ain't what's going on over here. Because it says in First Peter 5, 5th chapter, feed the flock, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Also being examples to the flock, pretty much leading by example, like I said. So they're not doing that. And I guess you could imagine how much financial help we could use, and we don't even, we put, those of us, we're supposed to be putting in this work, but and we, Lord will, we're all doing our part. But we got lives. We got our daily lives. We got families, our job. We got a lot of stuff that takes up our time throughout the day, and then we still have to find time to put in this work and study and labor. Now, imagine what we have on our plate, but and I can only imagine how much the elders have on their plate, combined with the amount of work that they put in. Whatever amount of work we put in, we could multiply that by 10, and that's probably, I'm just throwing a number out there, and maybe exaggerated or whatever, but as an example, if that's how much the work the elders are putting in, daily. They still study on the, and put in work and they put in way more work than I do, and I know I have a somewhat busy schedule. These are grown men compared, I'm not saying I'm not a grown man, but compared to me, these men they've been toiling in labor for as long as I've been alive. So I could imagine the obligations they have in their life, besides the main obligation of doing this work and leading the ship. They got a lot of responsibility and on both ends, and they still find time to do multiple lessons in a day, and beautiful lessons at that. So like I said, these men are more than worthy of receiving those double honors. That should be the very least that we send their way. I'd like to go into one more precept, and I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. This is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, 7th chapter, starting off with the 29th verse. For the Lord Yahweh, Salakia, fear the Lord Yahweh with all thy soul, and reverence his priests. That reverence, like I said, the honor. Love him that made thee with all thy strength, and forsake not his ministers, his servants, the elder apostles, in this case. Fear the Lord and honor the priests, and give him his portion as it is commanded thee. So this isn't a suggestion, this is a commandment. Give him his portion as is commanded thee, the first fruits and the trespass offerings and the gift of the shoulders and the sacrifice of sanctification, and the first fruits of the holy things. So this is this giving of double honors, whether it be just the honor itself or that material support. This act of giving that honor reflects reverence for Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Not only respect aspect of reverence, but also the fear aspect of it. Because ultimately these men were perfectly handpicked for this mission. These faithful servants were chosen to feed the Lord's flock, and we need to thank Yahweh Hashem Yahushai every single day, because those of us that are either in the camp or learning under the camp, and like the elder apostle said, if you're learning under the camp and you're an affiliate, affiliated with the camp, you are part of GMS, because you're coming up under the camp, so to speak. Getting your doctrine and all the spiritual nourishment you need. You're getting it from the elder apostles on down. So like I said, you should be thanking Yahweh Hashem Yahushua on the daily that these are the men that he chose for the mission. Because when you're looking into the world, into these other Israelite camps, you see who's leading them. You see what's going on with the Nates and the Hakah and Al-Azhar and Tazariacs and all these other clowns. You see where their congregation is at spiritually. You see where they're at monetarily. You can tell they're in it for that filthy lucre. And look where they're at. Look where their congregations are at. That could have been any one of us. Kahalayim La, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, that that ain't my case. you should be thanking the Lord if that, if that's not your case, and if it is your case, you should be, study, get up on your studies and find your way into the right, the correct, find yourself the correct teachers, that push this word correctly, such as the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Anyway, I don't want to make this too long-winded. I'm gonna end it out right there. Lord willing, this is edifying into the body. I'm gonna close it out by saying Kal Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harachak Badash, Mashana Kabawadium, Laha Shalakium, Wa Hagmawanyam, Zakwan, Shal Gadwa Rakab. Sincere Shalom to 244,000 hopeful leg men scattered abroad. Pushing this word in sincerity and righteousness. And unto you 1/3 women and children, seeking out your salvation with fear and trembling. Unto you and your households, I say Shalom, Barakatah, or Ababa Ba. Amen.